right, what's up, everybody? Friday night is Friday. Welcome in, everybody, here. We're going to do some Robert Brooks updates tonight, and I will do the cases that people will not. I'm not afraid to get into these cases. I'm not afraid to talk about this case. Been talking about on the channel since February, and no verdict today in the Robert Brooks murder trial, and we have 3 correctional officers on trial, David Kingsley, Nicholas Kiefer, and Matthew Gallagher. And this is now day 3 of deliberations. And this is going to go in over the weekend. And this is where I had to ask you the question in the chat. And I have a poll up there. Are you getting nervous about this? I'm a little nervous, but I think the jury wants to get this right, and that's to distinguish between murder and manslaughter. And we're going to read a little bit about that. And then what I do want to do this evening, and I think it's warranted that we go over it again, and I want to watch the video, and I want to make sure that we keep track of Kingsley, Gallagher, and Kiefer, because it is important. I want to see their actions in the video. I want to see if there's anything beyond a reasonable doubt that would acquit one of these scumbags. I don't want to see people. I don't want to see human beings. I'm so drawn to the core about this case. But what I want to do is I want to go over the video, and I think that we should, and I think we should keep track of what they're involved with and what they had done in Robert's case. I know the video is very difficult to watch, but it's something that I think is warranted to go over and look, because the jury is looking over this evidence right now. They're deliberating on it, and we have every right to go over it again and deliberate for ourselves. And let's look at the evidence tonight. So I do want to do that. But we're going to get to some court updates as to things that happened inside the courtroom today. And we'll read through those, and then we will go through the video. I want to track those 3 individuals. We have 4 that are going to take this to jury trial. 3 of them right now, and 1 more, which I believe is Anzalone. And I could be wrong on that, but I think it's Anzalone, and he will be in January. So this case is still not finished, because we're going to get past this trial, and then we're going to get to one in January. And it's probably going to be about the same length as this one. Well, let's do this. We had updates in the courtroom today. It's welcome in, everybody. It's very nice to see everybody. We see some channel moderators here. We see channel members here. Sue's here. Glad to have you here. Tammy's here. Good to see you. LS, thank you so much. I am not afraid to talk about these cases. If no one will do it, I will here on the LTL channel. Anzalone pled out. It's Fisher. Thank you for setting me correct, Al. I appreciate that. Again, there's been a lot of names in this involved. I thought it was Anzalone, and I come corrected. Thank you, Colleen. I appreciate that. Okay, so let's do this. We have an update here from Channel 2 News, and I'm going to take you right to the beginning when the jury walked into the courtroom today, and we'll read through the timeline, and then we're going to go through the video, and I want to watch Kingsley, Kiefer, and Gallagher. And we're going to use JB Nichols' visual representation of the breakdown. He did a phenomenal breakdown of this. If you haven't gone over to subscribe to his channel, please do that. And his website is freelancenews.org. I urge everybody to go over and watch all his updates in this case. I believe he's been in the courtroom. Okay, so let's do this. I'm going to pull up this timeline here as to what happened in court today. So today's update is at 10:19 a.m. this morning. Another note from the jury has been sent to the court. The jury also wants to hear testimony of former CO Robert Kessler, prosecution questioning only. At 10:21 a.m., the jury wants to see former Sergeant Glenn Trombley's body-worn camera video from the start to point out where he enters the infirmary at Marcy Correctional Facility. At 10:26, the jury has requested a portion of Kessler's testimony, specifically focusing on the events that occurred in the breezeway leading onto the sidewalk. This request pertains to the prosecution's direct examination. Excuse me. And then it looked like the jury did a little bit of deliberation. Maybe they had a lunch break or a break. Came back at 12:15 p.m. The jury has sent another note. They want to hear Kiefer's attorney cross-examination from former CO Kessler about the admitted incident in the breezeway. At 12:27 p.m., the judge told the jury that they could order lunch. Okay, now we have a lunch break. Order lunch and deliberate, but only request any request would have to wait for court staff to return from lunch. So they at 1:02 p.m., the jury has been excused for lunch. They will be back at 2:05. At 2:27 p.m., the jury back from lunch sent another note. The jury wants two exhibits: use of force memo involving defendant Kingsley and the docs regs and docs rules and regulation on the duty to intervene. At 3:13 p.m., there's another note for the jury. Lots of communication going on here. They want to rewatch all body-worn camera footage of Robert Brooks in the infirmary and the ER. They also want the conditions of murder and manslaughter read back to them slowly once. And then at 4:48 p.m., there was no verdict today. The jury was excused for the day and resume deliberations next week. I'm going to be honest with you. No, I'm going to be honest with you. Susie is saying, I have a horrible feeling they're going to walk. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm feeling pretty good about this. And I could be wrong. But what I think is happening here is that the jury is trying to distinguish between obviously manslaughter and murder. And asking questions is not a bad thing. But tons of communication. Or it could be wrong. Maybe they look at these guys that they're looking at that they're overcharged. I don't see it. But we're going to go over it tonight. So I'm just going to scroll down to the bottom of this story and kind of read what was going on as well. So original story below, the jury is still in deliberation of the verdict from former correctional officers Dave Kingsley, Nicholas Kiefer, and Matthew Gallagher in the case involving the beating death of Marcy inmate Robert Brooks. On Thursday, the jury in Onondaga County Court sent 5 notes to the judge requesting to rehear the definition of the charges, including murder, manslaughter, gang assault, and offering a false instrument for the filing. I think they just want to make sure that they get the charges correct. They also asked for clarification on the element required for a conviction. Additionally, the jury wanted to review part of the autopsy report addressing Brooks's neck and throat injuries. However, since the report was not entered into evidence, they were provided with a corresponding PowerPoint presentation instead. They were also requested to see several exhibits again. Deliberations are set to resume this morning at 10 a.m. And that was obviously the prequel to what we saw here in the timeline. I hope I am too, Susie. I really am. But questions is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. Missy says one of the 3 is definitely more handsy. I believe it's Kingsley played a major part. And I'm going to concur with you. I believe you are correct. I believe you are correct. Let's see. All right. So let's go through this. Al, I can't answer that question. I don't know. Tammy says, I agree with the last request, the reread of manslaughter and second-degree murder. So let's do this. Let's go through the video. We're going to use JB Nichols' breakdown of the video because there's no audio, but we're going to get his breakdown. We'll be able to place people in the rooms where they were, where they weren't. And I want to track. We're going to keep an eye on Kingsley, Kiefer, and Gallagher. Those are the names that you want to hear tonight, and keep track of that. And let's see what their involvement is, because everybody else is pled out except for one. Fisher will have his trial in January. So let's watch this. I know it's very difficult to watch, but I think it's important. And I want to see, is there something that we're missing? Is there something the jury's not seeing? And let's make that clear tonight and watch through this video. Oh, you're absolutely no problem. Okay, so let's pull up the video here. JB Nichols, fantastic breakdown of this video. And if you haven't, go over and check him out on his YouTube channel and also at thefreelancenews.org. All right, here we go.
Corrections officers in New York killed inmate Robert Brooks on December 9th, 2024. 4 of them unknowingly recorded the killing with their body-worn cameras. They didn't activate the cameras, but they were powered on, which enabled video to be recovered. The sound was not recoverable, so a close visual analysis is required to understand what's happening in the video that you see.
Okay, again, keep in mind, Kingsley Kiefer Gellerher. Say it with me. Kingsley Kiefer Gellerher. Those are the names that we're going to want to track through this video. Those are the 3 individuals that are on trial right now. We want to watch and see what their involvement is in this. And again, this is not all of the body cam footage. If you're interested in seeing all of it, it is on the AG's website. But there's no audio, and this puts a good representation as to what happened in this about 15 minutes of video here. Okay, let's go.
That's Brooks right there, sitting in green on the edge of an examination table in the prison's infirmary. Note the time in the upper right-hand corner of the video, which I've verified is accurate. It's 21:23 in military time. That's 9:23 p.m. In 20 minutes, Brooks will be dead. I'm JB Nicholas, criminal justice reporter for the Freelance News. I've covered crime, courts, and prisons for the last 20 years. I'm going to back the tape up, and I'm going to walk you through the killing of Robert Brooks from the beginning. Yeah. I've used all 4 of the body camera videos to make this video.
Kingsley
For clarity, I've marked in the upper left-hand corner the name of the guard whose camera recorded the video that's playing. This is video from Sergeant Glenn Trombley's body-worn video camera.
That was requested today by the jury. They wanted to see Trombley's full body cam video. So that's something that was very important to them.
Gets into a van with CO Anthony Farina. According to sworn testimony in a federal civil rights lawsuit exclusively revealed by the Freelance, Sergeant Trombley is the leader of the prison's beat-up squad, and Farina is a member of the squad.
Doesn't surprise me.
Every prison has a beat-up squad. Beat-up squads are a kind of quick reaction force that respond to fights and other emergencies. Trombley and Farina are about to arrive at one of the prison's exits and entrances called a sally port. That's where a squad of COs have Brooks handcuffed on the ground. Notice that when Trombley gets out of the van, he opens its side doors. That's because they usually place prisoners in the van to move them around inside the facility. This time, they will not use the van. We don't know how or why they all got here, but Brooks is handcuffed on the ground. Another sergeant, Michael Mashaw, is already there. So are COs Robert Kessler, Nicholas Anzalone, Nicholas Kiefer, and David Kingsley.
Kiefer.
Anzalone.
So Kiefer and Gellerher were already outside.
And Kessler are going to stand Brooks up with his hands behind his back, bend him forward, and walk him away. That's Farina on the right. Behind them, right to left, are Sergeant Mashaw, Farina, Kingsley, and in the back, Kiefer.
Kingsley.
It's 9:21 and 36 seconds. 10 seconds later, CO Matthew.
So Kingsley's already there. Kingsley's already there witnessing one of the beatings because Brooks was beat outside. But as we heard, the camera didn't turn on. Trombley's camera didn't turn on until they were inside the van. So Kingsley was there.
Gallagher's camera captures Kessler, Anzalone, and Kingsley walking Brooks past the open doors of a van.
But what's going to happen is, and there's Gallagher's camera right there. But what I'm thinking here is the jury can't. I want to see a little bit further with Kingsley. Okay. But probably right now, this is why they wanted to go back and watch this portion of the video, because you're not going to see Kingsley actually assaulting Brooks at this point. Okay.
Kessler to the right, Anzalone on the left, Brooks in the middle walking, bent over, and then Kingsley following them. This is important because the next time we see Brooks, he's going to be being carried by these three men into the infirmary. Less than a minute later, according to CO Michael Along's camera, Kessler, Anzalone, and Kingsley carry Brooks into the infirmary. He's unconscious, it appears, and no longer walking like he was when he was last seen.
Kingsley. Names come up a lot so far.
CO David Walters, turning the corner right there, follows them up the hallway into the infirmary and tells nurses Kyle Dashnow and Abedi Medovic don't go in the room to treat Brooks. He turns them away.
I think so too, Sue.
Here he is raising his right hand, holding it out and gesturing toward Dashnow, freezing Dashnow in his tracks. Here it is again. Inside the room, Kingsley and Anzalone have Brooks pinned face down on the table, and it looks like Kingsley is trying to use the edge of the table to break Brooks' lower leg. 9:23:45, Sergeant Trombley arrives. There's Farina, Sergeant Mashaw. Brooks is conscious. There's Anzalone, Kessler, and Kingsley in the room. In walks CO Christopher Walrath, who has a lot to say to Brooks. We don't know what Walrath's role in this is, but it appears that whatever triggered this, Walrath was there when it started. Now, there goes Kiefer, Walrath behind him, and on his way out, Farina taps him. See that there? Farina taps Walworth to tell him something. Something like, hey, I got you.
So Kiefer goes out. Kingsley is still in the room. We're seeing a lot of Kingsley. We're hearing a lot of Kingsley. Kiefer's out of the room now.
Walrath's out. Farina goes in.
Gallagher's camera tripped. And it looks like Gallagher is on the outside of the room as well, too.
Starts putting his gloves on. And Brooks has less than 18 minutes to live. It's 9:25. Farina is about to gag Brooks with a white rag. Anzalone has one of Brooks's boots in his hand, and it looks like he's hitting Brooks with it. Then Anzalone starts pounding away on Brooks.
Fucking scum.
CO Gallagher is there watching.
Gallagher.
Here it is from the other side of the room with CO Matthew Gallagher's camera. There's Farina stuffing the rag in Brooks's mouth and then punching him repeatedly in the face. While Farina is punching Brooks in the face, Kingsley is pinning his neck to the table. Now he's lifting him up and
It's
choking
Kingsley.
lifting him up by the neck, choking him and dropping him repeatedly back.
That was Kingsley. That was Kingsley. That was choking him. How are we saying, how is this fucking defense attorney looking at this jury in the eyes and saying, oh, he was helping him try to get up on the gurney? He's choking him. And they're trying to say that Farina was wiping Brooks's mouth out, helping wipe his mouth out. It was choking him. Let's go. I want to go back to And you can see Walrath smiling when Kingsley's doing this. Let's back up a little bit. Kingsley is here. That's Kingsley. So keep an eye on Kingsley. Farina's to the left. This is Walrath. Walrath is here.
Here it is from the.
So you got, that's Farina. That's Kingsley, Walrath. Here we go.
The other side of the room with CO Matthew Gallagher's camera. There's Farina stuffing the rag in Brooks's mouth and then punching him repeatedly in the face. While Farina is punching Brooks in the face, Kingsley.
Look at Walrath smiling. Right here. Look at the smile.
Is pinning his neck to the table. Now he's lifting him up and choking him. Lifting him up by the neck, choking him and dropping him repeatedly back to the table. He does this 4 times.
That's Gallagher's camera. So he was in the room.
Back to the other side of the room and Sergeant Trombley's camera.
That's Gallagher with the beard and the hat.
There's Gallagher.
This is Gallagher. And look, he looks like he's getting ready to assault him. This is Gallagher right here.
In the room.
Let's see. Back up. Sorry. And again, if you want to watch this well at my commentary, I will drop the link after we get done with this. But again, we're focusing on Kingsley, Kiefer, and Gallagher. This is Gallagher here. They're going to focus on him next.
Back to the other side of the room and Sergeant Trombley's camera. There's Gallagher in the room.
Oh, that's right. Walrath had the blue shirt on.
There goes Farina stomping on Brooks' genitals while they pin him to the table and punch him repeatedly. Gallagher has his hand on Brooks' throat. Here comes Walrath back. Walrath is grabbing Brooks' leg with Farina and twisting. Kiefer's back in the room too, on the far side of the room.
They're all there.
Standing there. There's Kessler. Michael Fisher, CO Michael Fisher in the doorway. This is from Michael Fisher's camera. When Farina was gagging Brooks, Brooks must have bit him because you see him, he took his glove off and he checked his finger and he grimaced. Now here's Kessler walking into the room.
Okay.
Kiefer is already in there, but Kiefer just got directed to leave the room by Sergeant Trombley. Let's watch that again. There's Trombley pointing at Kiefer across the room and then sweeping his hand to the door in the direction of the door and Kiefer leaving. This shows that Trombley is indeed the head of the beat-up squad. Next, Walrath taps Sergeant Masho to back up so he can punch Brooks harder on the table while he's handcuffed.
Look how casual Trombley is. Look at him. His hands are on the desk in a relaxed position. These guys have done this before. This is not their first rodeo.
Let's watch that again. Now, outside in the hallway,
no, Patty.
Kessler,
4 of them tripped,
and Shay Schaff and Michael Fisher talk. Kessler actually does most of the talking. He seems to be explaining something related to Brooks. It looks like he's describing a physical confrontation because you'll see in a second he backs up and then gestures to the wall. Here comes Walrath thanking Kessler for something, slapping him on the back, Kessler slapping him back, them laughing and joking, and now we're back in the room. Anzalone, Kingsley, Gallagher, and Farina are standing over Brooks, who's unconscious.
Kingsley, look at this is Kingsley. Okay. Kingsley has his hand on Brooks's neck. That guy's toast.
On the table.
This is
table. Kingsley has his hand on Brooks's throat. It's 9:27. They lift Brooks off the table, Anzalone on one side, Kingsley on the other. Sergeant Mashaw in the background looking on. There's blood on his face. His nose looks broken. He appears to be in and out of consciousness. Both Anzalone and Kingsley touch his neck and his head. Anzalone punches him
Jesus Christ.
in the side of the ribs.
Kingsley
keeps adjusting his grip to get a better grip on Brooks's neck. Trombley gestures, gives him an order to do something. Anzalone is going to put on gloves before he does it. They're going to take him and pin him against the wall in the far rear corner of the room. Against that window, there's a white window shade that's drawn down over it. Behind that shade is a window similar to the one on the left. It's a thick plexiglass window with a metal mesh cover, and there's a ledge there. There's a windowsill. It's concrete. When they pick him up off the table, Brooks can't walk, so they carry him. He's a small guy compared to them, and they carry him over to the corner, and they pin him up against the window ledge. While they're pinning Brooks to the window ledge, Sergeant Mashaw is not letting Nurse Medovic into the room. That's Nurse McMedovic on the right, Sergeant Mashaw on the left. It looks like Medovic wants to get into the room. He's got his gloves on. Mashaw's not having it. Sends Medovic on its way. These are Brooks' last moments. There's Kessler, Anzalone, and
They're
Kingsley
all in that room
with Brooks pinned up against the
what's
wall.
going on, and they all had the opportunity to stop this. They all had the opportunity to stop this. I don't know what the jury's looking at. I really don't. I don't know what this jury's looking at. They were all there. They were all part of it. They all had the opportunity to say no. Fuck them. I hope they all go down. They were all there. I mean, we mapped it out tonight. They were all there. They all did something in some way to Brooks.
Now it's 9:31. The nurses are still outside the room. Kingsley, Anzalone, and Kessler are still in the corner with Brooks.
Yeah. Fuck Kingsley, too.
Now Kessler seems to be applying pressure. Anzalone just lifted Brooks and threw him into the air twice. Brooks seems completely limp like a rag doll. It's 9:32. They finally let the nurses into the room. Brooks is on the table unconscious.
They're sternum rubbing him. This is terrible.
Gallagher is stripping his pants off.
Stripping his pants off. Fuck all these guys.
Anzalone, Kingsley are still there. Now it's 9:35. Anzalone is leaving.
He's dead.
Nurse Kyle Dashnaw is trying to find a pulse on Brooks.
What is the jury looking at?
So is Medovic on the other side.
They're all laughing. Look, they're all laughing in the background.
Sergeants Mashnall and Trombley are joking and laughing in the background.
Yes.
9:36. The nurse realizes it's hopeless. (9:41). McMedovic is still trying to find a pulse. Kingsley still has his hands on Brooks.
That guy, fuck him too.
Sergeant Trombley is going to enter the picture and go to the left, go to Brooks's head, and retrieve a small white object from what appears to be Brooks's face. Let's watch that again.
Yeah, what is that?
It seems to me that could very well be a piece of the white rag that Farina used to gag Brooks.
He was in his mouth. He
The
spit
nurse
it out.
is pulling the portable defibrillator out of the wall. that's in that red package.
Fuckers.
He's going to hook the wires up to Brooks and see if it works, but it's not gonna. The Department of Corrections and Community Supervision
Yeah, me
said
too.
that Brooks died at Wynn Hospital in Utica on December 10th. That's more than 2 hours away from this moment, and it's only a 10-minute ambulance ride away.
Yeah, listen, they were all there. They all took part in this. Whatever the jury's looking at, I don't know. It's Kingsley right there. Oh, boy. I don't know, everybody. I'm frustrated. I hope they walk in on Monday morning, walk in, and we get a verdict right away. They're going to have a whole weekend to discuss, to think about this. I hope we go in, they sit down for an hour, and they come to the conclusion and a verdict. I just don't see any other way. They all had parts to play in this. They were all there. They all knew what was going on. They all took part of this. Yeah, he was dead before he even made the hospital. He died right there in that gurney. I'm so aggravated about this. I'm so upset about this. I'm irritated. Yeah, and I hope that's what it is, Alex. Because I just don't like this whole, going back and having to discuss and look at things again. Fuck all that. These guys were all in that room. They all took part in this beating and murder in some form of fashion. They all had the opportunity to turn around at some point and step in and say no. And it tells me, and it shows me here, that the body language and everything that they did inside this video, that this is not their first rodeo. They've done this before, probably over and over and over and over again. And guess what? This time you got caught. And I don't know how any sane jury can go in there and acquit any of these guys. I don't know. I'm just irritated and pissed and upset. And it's just important to talk about this. It's very important to talk about this. So, again, another really just quick update for all of you. I wanted to go through the video again. I wanted to give you guys some courtroom updates as to what happened today. I feel like Monday, this jury just needs to walk in, sit down, come to the determination, and put these guys away for the rest of their lives. They don't deserve another day out behind bars. Their freedom and their rights should be stripped away and put away forever. And so be it. Hopefully, there is some sweet prison justice in this case, because I think all of them are going to have a very hard time in prison, and deservedly so. Deservedly so. Yeah, it's wild. It's wacky. Juries are weird, man. They're unpredictable. That's the thing. Colleen says, I want everyone to be guilty of all charges, but I don't have faith in 12 people doing the right thing. It's a weird thing, man. Juries are just so unpredictable. Susie, thank you. She says, keep covering. Thanks for covering this. Keep everything crossed. Jury will do the right thing. I hope so. No, the jury will not decide the sentencing. They will just decide the verdict, and then the judge will decide the sentencing. But I'm going to probably tell you, that I just lost lights. I'm probably going to tell you, oop, what happened? My lights went off. Hang on one second. What'd I do? I knocked my cord out. Hang on a second. All right, let's get some lights back on. Doop. That light on. This light on. I think we should be good now. I knocked my cord out under my desk. Where was I? No, but I'm probably going to tell you the judge sitting there is probably going to throw the maximum sentence at these guys, deservedly so. Deservedly so. Let's see. Blue Lights asks you, do you plan to go to the next Groton City Council meeting? Yes, I do. And I have a project that I've been working on, and I got some more evidence in the Spitgate incident. And I will be sorting through that pretty soon on on an upcoming live stream. I'm just waiting to see how Groton is going to respond to my new FOIA requests. And if I don't get them, I already have some new evidence that I want to show everybody, but we're waiting to see what Groton says in the next couple of days. So I will be there. And I plan on speaking to Mr. John Burt and Rachel Franco and Jill Rusk once again. And we will debunk. Okay, everybody. A quick stream here tonight on this Friday night. I'm going to pop off. I'm very, very tired. I worked all day. I'm going to get some rest, but I want to get everybody caught up into Robert's case because this is super important. It's super important to me, and I'm glad that all of you see the importance of this case as well, and for Robert and his family to get justice and expose COs like this. And hopefully we start getting some prison reform here pretty soon. Because look, I believe that people go in and they do their crime. They do their time and they have the ability to be rehabilitated and get out and be on the street. And if they can be a productive member of society, I'm all for that. Robert Brooks did not deserve to die this way. Okay. Robert Brooks was scheduled to be released in 2026. And who knows, maybe Robert learned this time around and could have gone out on the street and became a productive member of society. That we will never know because Robert Brooks is now passed away by the hands of 13 CO animals. But again, we'll keep covering this. I'll keep tweeting about it starting back on Monday. I'll keep posting on Facebook about it. And hopefully we get a verdict on Monday because I just don't really see the need to go past Monday. But again, juries are weird and wacky, and we can never determine what they are thinking. So thank you again for being here on Friday night with me. Some upcoming program. I will have Mike from the Young Jerks on my channel on Wednesday, along with Mazza Media, and we will be talking about the Kelsey Fitzsimmons case, along with Francis Gigalotti's case. There's been some updates in his case as well. So we'll do a split program on that. I'm excited to get Mike on the channel and just kind of educate me because he's been doing a phenomenal job in Kelsey's case. And we're going to be doing some fundraising for Mike's legal defense fund. So I hope you all will join me. That's going to be on Wednesday at 6 p.m. I may do a stream on Sunday. Just check your listings, come to my homepage, or if you're not getting my notifications, I urge everybody to go out and check out my Facebook page where I post pretty regularly there. And you can find that at LTL Media, and you can sub up or subscribe or like, I forget what it is on Facebook, and you can get all your updates there. So thank you all for being here. Thank you for caring about this case. It is super, super important. We'll keep updating, and hopefully we'll get justice this week for Robert Brooks. Everybody have a phenomenal night. And if I'm not back on Sunday, I will definitely be back on Wednesday with Mike from the Young Jerks and Mazza Media. Everybody have a great night, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.